Hey, so in this video we're going to be reviewing the Discover One, and I want to go ahead and really briefly talk about who I think this bike would be best for before you start watching this. It is a great commuter bike, nice size tires, with tires that are a little larger than the 2.5-inch size, you start to get a little bit of a feel of a very smooth ride on there. But if you look at behind it, what we have here, this is, one of those Star Wars fighters that kind of resembles, and when you think about the resemblances of the different type of vehicles that are out there, this is going to be like one of them. There's going to be fast, it's going to be really nimble, really lightweight, but still lots of power, the ability to get you around very quickly. I think it's a bike that you should continue to look into if you're looking for a good commuter bike. The Discover would be a great one. And the power that's behind it is more than enough to shoot you around town like this, like something like this. Let's get into the specs, the ride, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Putting together the Velotric Discover One is a pretty easy process. It took a few hours. I basically make sure that I add flat-out tire sealant to both the front and rear tire, and to make sure I don't get any flats on the road. Then I assembled the wheel to the front fork. I put on the handlebars and assembled the kickstand to the back of the bike, put on the screen, wrapped up the cables on the front side, added the fender and light, checked all the electricals to make sure everything was working right, tightened all the nuts and bolts throughout the whole bike, and we're ready to go in just a few hours. Okay, so this is the specs overview for the Velotric Discover One. A lot of features that we can go over today, and a heck of a deal. And for what you get for this, honestly, bikes like this with the kind of components that we're getting should be closer to, I'd say, about a $14.99 at least, maybe a few $100s more for sure. Let's go over the specs and I'll explain why I think this is a great commuter deal. And so first of all, let's go ahead and turn this on. And we're going to start from the back, and I wanted to show this first is because this has a tail light that is integrated through the fender itself. And as I'm turning that on, let's see if I can actually make the brake light activate. So here we have the brake light actually activating. This is with it on right now. So you have integrated tail lights. That's the first part there. A lot of bikes actually don't even, well, there's a handful of bikes that don't even come with that, and that's when you have price range at about $1,000 or $1,100. You don't even expect to have integrated lights a lot of times. It also comes with everything you see here on the bike itself. The only thing that I did add is cell phone holder, because you have a lot of dash space. Also my water bottle holder. You can find both of these actually on the ebikeproducts.com website. And you also have a half-knee mirror that I added on because I had enough space and we were going to go for a long ride. I wanted to make sure that I had a lot of opportunity to be able to see what's behind me on the trails that we're going. So I think, I usually say, I think all companies should pretty much add mirrors as part of their bikes just for safety reasons. That's the number one thing I would add other than a water bottle holder. But this does come with the water cage bosses, as you can see here. You can use that either for locks as well. It also has an integrated battery, as you can see here. This comes in 6 really cool colors, and that's another thing about this bike. Not only does it have a really great frame design, very solid ride, but you also have just a choice of different colors that you can pick. Just check out the website, you'll be able to see the different colors that come with this. So let's start with the back of the bike here. We have a 7-speed Tourney Shimano derailleur in the back here. It's a 14 to 28 tooth range. It's a decent range. Now the only thing is with the 42 tooth 170 millimeter crankset, it's a little small, so you might have some air pedaling going on if you go at the higher speeds. Now, the other thing about this bike is that it is set as a class 2 bike, so which means at 20 miles an hour, it will cut out the motor, and that's the fastest you'll be able to go at that point with extra pedal assist. Now, of course, with your own power, you can go faster than that. That's not a problem at all. So the next thing I want to talk about is the motor behind this. It is a 500 watt geared brushless motor and it has a peak power ability of up to 900 watts. So you do get a considerable amount of power. Now it's not really torquey, which means it doesn't like really have a really rough jump start or kick start when you're going ahead and doing your start off on your rides, but that's completely fine. As a commuter bike, it still has a lot of power that you might need when you're picking up your speed to go ahead and take your ride, but it also does help prevent you from wasting a lot of inefficiency of your battery, because they're claiming up to like 65 miles with pedal assisting and 58 miles or 55 miles of just throttle alone, which is a lot of range. And that's because it also has a 14.4 amp outer battery built into here. You also have a battery that can be charged right on the bike itself, or you can take the battery out and charge it elsewhere. We have a really awesome, beautiful display here. Very easy to see. And with pedal assists, actually you can see me here pushing it, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can get up to each assist level. Now the thing about this bike is that at 0, you get no throttle whatsoever. Okay, now once you go into pedal assist 1, you will get as much throttle as pedal assist 1 gives you, which means as much as pedal assist 1 has, whatever speed or whatever amperage is actually being pushed through to the motor, that's what you get on your throttle as well. So if you want a lot of power right off the start, you will need to bring this up to pedal assist 5. That way you have most power going through any type of pedal assist with your pedaling or with your throttle. That's the way you'll get full throttle from here. Some people like that, some people don't. And the big con, I guess, that some people will say is that they want full power no matter where they're at in case they need to get started. But the other side of the coin is if you only want a little bit of power when you're starting off, just to make sure you don't get kind of thrown all over the place, then you kind of want to start with 1. One thing that's actually really beneficial, you have more control over your throttle maintaining speed. We have hydraulic suspension in the front here, and with that hydraulic suspension we also have a lockout, so if you want to go ahead and solidify that, it is an 80 millimeter travel distance for that there, so you get a lot of good travel distance with that. That means it absorbs a lot, it rides really smooth. I actually pumped these tires up to almost the max. I mean, it says maximum 65 psi. I put it up to 60. And that's pretty hard, and yet the ride was so smooth. I really like that. I like my tires harder because it's just more efficient. That way less drag, and your battery tends to last a little longer that way. The other thing that you will see here is that this is not part of the bike as well. This is actually my GPS reader, so any miles that you see overlaid on top of the screen is the mileage from the bike, and it's not from the camera bike. It's actually, this is feeding the speed off of a GPS satellite, so everything that you see on the cameras of the speed is actually from this bike here. Okay, stepping over to this side here, I wanted to show you we do also have our hydraulic disc brakes. And again, these are at 180 millimeter discs. So lots of stopping power, very smooth, and super soft to the touch. Seriously, I mean, they could have actually put even lesser, smaller levers if they wanted to, because these hydraulic brakes are just so smooth. And the next thing that you'll also see is we do have a quick release, so that if you do need to go ahead and pack up the bike inside of a car in a trunk, it is possible that it will fit, because you can take off the front wheel, or if you need to secure and lock it. I do also like the way that they actually have this casing down here to put the controller in, so that you don't have it like some other bikes where it's actually sticking out. So it's a little more secure, better with water protection as well. We have basic standard pedals. By the way, this is one thing I wanted to point out with regards to the pedals that not a lot of bikes also have, is that you can use an Allen key on the back side when you're putting your pedals in to get them started all the way in very quickly. And it's another, just the small things that actually I really appreciate as well. Now, the thing about this bike here is it is a little taller, being that it is the step over or the full model. So which means that the rating for this is between 5'6" and 6'9". So for me at 5'5", you will see the bike is a little tall for me. But at me, even at 5'5", with full leg extension, I still have about 3 inches to go ahead and bring that down. The only thing is that the standover height is over 30 inches. So for me, I have a 29-inch standover or inseam. It is a little tall for me as well. So I do recommend this actually for bike riders, probably 5'6" and above as recommended. It works fine for me. I really like bikes that have a little height to it, but The step-through model does go down as low as 5.1. I have no complaints at all. I really do like this bike a lot. Check out this cable management and the way that it actually feeds into the tubes here. This is actually, I mean, this is just the kind of thing, I just admire that they do take the time to make sure that things look wrapped up. And in fact, they even provided these extra wraps so you can wrap the wires after you install everything. The seat is not the softest seat, but it is comfortable. And I could probably ride this for quite a while without considering even needing to change it out. It is a wider than most, and the only thing is, I would say, so maybe there is one thing I would say is a little complaint, only because of my size though, is that the reach is a little far for someone who's 5'5", which is why they actually do recommend 5'6". If I was probably an inch taller, it probably would be just perfectly fitted for me. Even if it is just a little more than I'm reaching farther than I'm comfortable with, because I like sitting straight up, it still is a really comfortable ride, and I love this bike. It's a really good bike. It does have 26 by 2.5 inch street tires. And these tires, although they're street tires, you'll see some of the video footage. I was riding in kind of a semi-dirt trail. I guess that would be a good fire trails or those type of things. So that actually worked out great for commuting, basically road tires. But the front suspension does eat up a lot of the roughness of the road. By holding the front button here, holding that down, and then what you'll see is the headlight does turn on. So I'm turning it off and then turning it on. So as you can see, I mean, this light is not going to light up the road in front of you for you to see on if it's pitch black, but it does give visibility so people can see you. And that's a good safety feature that's built into this as well. I want to go ahead and point out something with this battery. So you do not need a key to run this bike. The battery, or this keyhole, basically is to secure your battery. And basically by turning this, let me go ahead and turn off the bike first. Turning it off, the bike is off. I'm going to turn the key, pop the battery out. And with that battery now kind of loose or unlatched, I can pull out the battery here. And I want to just show you something. It also comes, this battery comes with a 3 amp charger, so it's a fast charger. We have a 14.4 amp hour battery, and they have what they call Tesla grade cells in this. It's also UL rated, and for some of you who don't know, lately there's been a big concern about batteries causing big fires, and it's because of sometimes cheap batteries that are being used out there. So this is UL rated. That might be the next standard. Velotric seems to be ahead of the curve as far as making sure that they're going to stay relevant within all the legal guidelines and regulations coming and moving forward. And they've also, like I said, made sure that their batteries are UL rated with some really good high quality cells. And that's really good. The other thing is 14.4 amp hours. It's a big battery. And very easy to put back in. So by sticking this in here, I'm going to turn this to get my key out. And then once the key is out, it can just be snapped in using, a lot of times I need to use 2 hands to do this, but let me go and push this down. So I hear the click, and the click is there. And of course, you always want to make sure you hear the click, because that way your battery doesn't fall out while you're riding. All right, so if you're interested in looking more into the Discover by Velotric, you can use the link below, ebikeproducts.com/discover, and that'll take you to the Velotric website, and you'll see the current price right now. If you're looking for a commuter bike, definitely this is a brand that is doing things right. If last week's video you saw the Nomad, that's another fat tire bike made by Velotric. They just make really good quality stuff. High power, big batteries. They know what people want, put it all together, and have really great deals or great prices on their bikes. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.